So it is Friday night. It's been a while. At least it feels like it's been a while. And waiting for my steak to rest. Back to a Friday routine. We're into September. Didn't drink nearly as many wines this summer. In hindsight of summertime being a time to enjoy yourself, vacation, all of those things, it just didn't quite happen that way. Although last weekend, me and a group of friends had, I think, about 3 cases worth. And one thing was just blatantly obvious. I bought wines of varying costs and quality. 30 to 35 I called red dot. And I went with the stoplight. Red, yellow, green. So start with the reds, go yellows, then greens. Just after you've had a couple bottles, just switch. And it was just blatantly obvious that the $30, $35 were far better than 15 to 20 by a good margin, where it's begging the question, is it even worth getting what we called green dots for the weekend rather than just red dots? Anyway, just a little side tangent there. So what am I having today with the steak? I opened up Cali Syrah. This is from St. Lucia Highlands, Syrah Vineyard. I think 2022, so a little bit aged, not much. And this doesn't say anything from if it's old. They have a lot of ancient vine type of expressions. Carlisle does. They buy from vineyards. They don't plant. I don't think they grow their own grapes. They might have a Carlisle vineyard, but this isn't. They buy the grapes from here and then they vinify it themselves. Carlisle's a very high quality producer of Zinfandel, but I don't really love Zinfandel much anymore. Their Syrahs are pretty darn good. I haven't had one in a while. I believe sometimes Syrah just needs to decant longer than I typically let it for it to really open up. I do still believe the best Syrah in the world is from the Northern Rhone, Hermitage, Côte Rôtie, Saint Joseph, Cornas from the Northern Rhone of France. Just has more layers of depth, while still being powerful and including some elements of earthiness. So there are some great Syrahs out of Australia. I think a lot of them don't come to the United States, and there are a lot of great Syrahs out of California, but they sometimes can be one-dimensional. Sometimes they're fantastic. I had one maybe, let's say 10 years ago, maybe less, doesn't really matter. And I swore it tasted like red velvet cake. Not a sweet version, but if red velvet cake wasn't sweet, that it's what it tasted like, and it was phenomenal. So a little muted, and this has been decanting for about 45 minutes. But I am getting a dark cherry and a dark raspberry, like a mulled raspberry. I am getting a little bit of a baking spice on the nose for sure. It's there, a warming spice. Think of a Christmas potpourri type, not potpourri, but Christmas type spices. It's got a, I don't know why I'm smelling very, very, very ripe fig. Not something I typically get out of Syrah. There is no green pepper. There's no black pepper. I'm not getting, typically some Syrah will have a black pepper, and I don't really like when it's overly black pepper. Love black pepper on my food. I just don't love it in my wine. It's absolutely the opposite of how I look at black licorice or anise. I love it in my wine. Don't in a cocktail. I don't love really eating it. So just, I guess I just like the delivery to be in certain ways where I then have a fondness towards that flavor or aroma. Yeah, a little bit. It just got dark raspberry, dark cherry, the cinnamon and baking spice in the palate. No black pepper at all. Length is pretty solid. It's a solid wine. I've had much better Syrah. I've had worse Syrah. To be fair, I thought this was going to be a little bit better, honestly. St. Lucia Highlands is a great part of California, Monterey County. I really expected more. Maybe it'll open up. Maybe it'll be better with the food. But the acidity is maybe that's what's bothering me about this wine. It comes across as what they call flabby. Fair bit of body. Tannin is minimal, maybe medium, but the acid is a little lower. Medium minus, maybe even lowish. And I think that's what's making this wine feel a little bit disjointed to me, at least in this moment. Yeah, a little dull, a little boring. Not enough flavor there. It's okay. It's okay. So, just expected a little bit better. It's going to be what it's going to be. So, keep this one short and go enjoy the steak. See if this wine develops. Don't believe there'll be a follow-up on this thing. Don't really know what's coming next in a video. I definitely want to do some type of bigger tasting, and maybe I just go back to Costco and buy a bunch of Costco wines. It seems like that is, I think they're the #1 distributor in the country, in the United States, if I'm not mistaken, and a lot of great value. So maybe just go spend about $100 or some price point, buy those wines, bring it back, taste them. So I'll have like a maximum of how much I want to spend on a bunch of wine, and then maybe a maximum of per bottle, unless I find something just truly amazing. If there's a wine that's historically very expensive and they have it for $30, $35 that exceeds what I'm looking to spend per bottle, I'll still try it. Maybe that'll be worthwhile. Chateauneuf de Pape's a great example. They're typically 50 and above, far above, and if there's one for 30 or 25, might be worth giving a shot. Although Chateauneuf's probably a terrible example because I'm not the biggest fan of Chateauneuf de Pape's. I've only had, probably count on one hand, if one hand, how many I've really tried and liked. From Southern Rhone, I much prefer the region of Gigondas. Some of my favorite Southern Rhone wines are from Gigondas. I have two of them. Chateau de Cosme, phenomenal, but you pay for what you get on those. Oh, this pour was stinky. Little barnyard. That is. I hope this decanter wasn't. That was clean. I just came off with a barnyard funk. I don't know. Either way, this isn't a wine I would recommend, and I'll just have what I'm going to have tonight. Half the bottle is still remaining. I'll probably try it again on Sunday. Maybe by Sunday with some oxidation, it'll open up, maybe expose itself to being a little bit better, but I just don't believe so. I don't believe it's going to get to where I want it to be. So, that's it. Have a good night.